So it's been a while since I've done one of these, but a couple years ago I did a video about why I chose to go with Findaway versus ACX exclusive. Now, let me be upfront and say that I still use ACX. I just don't do the exclusive option. And the reason that I do that is because if you go through Findaway, yes, you get more codes, but you don't get as much royalty. And right now, ACX is still the biggest place to get royalties for authors with their audiobooks. Okay, so a couple of new things and things that have come up. One, I still very much recommend going that route. Now, a couple of authors that I know have decided to put their books in ACX exclusive first because ACX has this little clause that they don't really tell you about that says you get one way that you can switch it. So if you start exclusive, you can email them and ask them to make it non-exclusive after the book's earned, the first 3 to 6 months. This is a little bit more of an option now because ACX isn't taking quite so long to put books out. Back when I first did the video, they were so far behind because of COVID that I could literally have my book up on Findaway for 2 to 3 months before ACX would get it approved. So there is that. Some authors are doing that to try to get more royalty up front. That is always an option, at least until they change that again. Now, the thing about that I don't like is that's actually not something that you sign in the contract. It's like buried in their terms of service and their questions that if you don't know to go looking for it, it can bite you. And so the reason I say that is because they could change that kind of at any time and then you might be locked in. So I still think it's the best option to just start wide. The other reason, and this is, well, there's two actually. This is something that I've just started getting involved in, is going direct through Kobo. So when you upload on Findaway, there's a bunch of different retailers. I think they're up to like 46 now that you can have them send your audiobook to. You can have them send to Kobo/Walmart. But if you do that, you're missing out on being able to join the Kobo promotions. So I would recommend, yes, going through Findaway, but also uploading directly through ACX and directly through Kobo to be able to do their audiobooks. If you don't have that link in your Kobo dashboard, you just need to email them and they'll put it on there for you. But they are running a monthly promotion. I think it's almost every month. And once you put your books in that promotion, they just keep running them. So have I seen a ton of sales from that? No, but they're just kind of getting started. So I think it'll get better. And any place that you can get free promotion is always a good idea. And they don't charge for that promotion, at least not at this point. So I would recommend doing that. So yes, it's a little bit more work because you can't just upload to one place, but I think it's still very beneficial. The other thing, the reason that I would suggest going wide is because a lot of authors, myself included, have now determined that putting your books up on YouTube is a way that you can earn some money from them. So you can put your audiobooks up on YouTube as long as you own the rights. If you go to ACX exclusive, you cannot do that for 7 years because that's how long they lock you in for. So yet another reason that I would not go exclusive to ACX. Use ACX, non-exclusive. Yes, you get less royalty, but you have the ability to put your books everywhere. You can also sell your books on your own website. And if you have BookFunnel, it's a pretty easy way to have a BookFunnel deliver your audiobook automatically. I do it through PayHip, but you can do it through Shopify. There's a couple of other places. I haven't looked into the other ones. So there's some nice little options for that. Now, is YouTube going to pay you a ton right out of the gate? Absolutely not. It's kind of like, I equate it to kind of like KU. You get paid for how long people listen and the ads that can be put in. So it's kind of trickles it's little trickles. But my first month was like $10 and my second month was $30 and my third month was $40. So it is starting to add up. It does take a while to get monetized because you have to have 1,000 followers and 4,000 hours. So hit up your friends and family, be like, hey, help me out. You can also look into people on Fiverr or who specialize in that can help you get your YouTube channel visual out there so people can see it and subscribe to it. So that is a really helpful way to get it monetized quicker. Now, once you get it monetized, I personally did not have issues getting it monetized, but several other authors did. And I don't know exactly what it is that kicks it out. It seems like if you have your book narrated by AI, sometimes that causes some issues. Also, people just don't really like that. So again, if you can afford a human narrator, do it because it's so much better. My prices have gone up a little bit, but I'm still only charging $150 per finished hour, which is really reasonable because most people, if you're going with someone who does this for a living, they have to charge more than that in order to fund their actors guild they're a part of. So you can hit me up if you're interested in that. I do only do clean things, so I don't read a lot of sex scenes or a lot of curse words, but if it's clean, then I will happily narrate for you at that price. But you can have an AI read it for you. Listeners do not love it. So if you can get a human to do it, it's better. The other thing that I would suggest, and it's just something that I do, but it has made it to where I haven't had any issues with my monetization being kicked off or any of my videos like that, is when I get my audio files ready to put it, because you can't just put audio files up, you have to put them into, you got to take your MP3s and turn them into an MP4. I use a program called Movavi, and I'll do a video on that in the next couple of days. It's pretty simple. It takes up a lot of space sometimes, so my poor Mac, I need to get more memory in it. But anyway, when you put your files in and then you put your static image or your moving image, they say a moving image does better. So I usually go to Canva and do like a really short video and then just loop it. But when you put that in at the very beginning, I record just a really short video showing my face, talking about the book, why I wrote it, anything kind of fun like that. It's usually under a minute, but it's just like an introduction so that I'm the first thing they see when they start listening. I would absolutely recommend this if you hire a narrator, because it's not going to be your voice reading it. It's going to be somebody else reading it. And so I would definitely recommend having a video of yourself at the beginning, just so, again, YouTube is like, oh, okay, you do own this content. And maybe even talk about the fact, that you hired a narrator or whatever, that you did it through AI, whatever it is. But just something so that YouTube can see it. The other thing is having some videos of you about your books or things like that, I think also helps. I have a playlist that I just call Book Stuff, and it's just where I do like Monday Man of the Week, and I tell a little bit about the male character in a book, or I'll do Fun Fact Friday, and I'll just tell a fact about the book. Or if I'm running like a special, I might do a quick little video about that. So again, it's putting myself and my books in front of YouTube so that they know that it's my stuff. So I haven't had any issues with monetization. I know several other authors have, and there's a really great YouTube group. I think it's audiobooks on YouTube. I think it's just what it's called, but I'll put the link in the comments. But there's a really great book group there, and Victorine has been really successful with getting people remonetized. She's been really helpful with that. So yes, I would still recommend doing audiobooks. Yes, it's going to be expensive up front, but it is going to pay for itself in the long run, especially if you can get a decent narrator who doesn't charge too much. Yes, I would still recommend not being exclusive to ACX, but put it up through ACX, put it up through Findaway, put it up through Kobo Direct, and then start working on your YouTube channel, because it's just one of those like passive incomes. I consider it kind of like paperbacks. Like, I don't really advertise my paperbacks, but they're there. Or large print editions. Like, I don't have large print on all of mine because it became too much work, but I need to, because there are people who buy them. And again, I'm missing out on some of that because they're not just there, and it's pretty simple to put up. So yes, I would get them on YouTube. I'm actually even looking into Rumble, but I haven't seen a lot of return on Rumble. The nice thing about Rumble, I will say, is it seemed to allow me the option to get monetized without having to have a ton of followers. And I haven't checked it in a few days. So I put the first couple of chapters up just to see what the interest was. And I had 2 or 3 watches of the first 2 or 3 videos I put up, and then not much since. And I uploaded one full audiobook. Oh, that's one other thing that I do that not everybody does. So they recommend putting your whole audiobook together because that way you'll get more time with your listens, and that's absolutely fantastic. And if you can only do one, do it that way. But I had several listeners reach out to me and say, hey, I really wish I could listen to this by chapters. And since I have all of my audio files, I went ahead and did them by chapters as well. So I have my full audiobook, and then I have the audiobook where you can listen by chapters. And I've delineated 2 different lists. So there's a full audiobook list and there's an audiobook by chapter list, so that people can listen to both. In the long run, doing it that way, breaking up your chapters, will actually pay more if you get people who will listen to them, because you'll see they have to watch the ads in order for you to get paid. So the more they have to watch the ads, then the more that you're going to get paid. So in a full audiobook, there might be 6 to 10 ads, right? But there's going to be 3 to 4 in every one of those short chapters. And if you have 20 chapters in a book, you can see how that adds up. So I didn't do that for the money. I did that because I had readers reach out for me, but it's just something I've noticed in going back and looking over them. Please feel free to list any questions that you have, and I will be happy to address what I can. I am certainly not the be-all, end-all knowledge of this, but it's now going on month 4 or 5 for me, and it's working out pretty well. So I would say definitely get into it. And of course, if you're interested in narration, you can respond to this, or you can go to my website, authorlorenahoops.org, and there's a place where you can send me a message there. And I will do a video on Movavi soon so that you guys can see how to do that if you're interested. I also do that as an option. So if I narrate for you, or if you just are like, I can't do this and I want someone else to do it for me, I do that for $50. So put it all together and send you the MP4 that you can just load up. So as long as your files are fine, as long as I don't have to edit your files. If I have to edit your files, it's way more than that. But if your files are just coming from like ACX, you've downloaded them, then it's super easy to put them over and put them in Movavi. All right, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section, and I will get to them as soon as I can. See ya.